the dream of contention has died, and several longtime fixtures have departed, but that doesn't mean fans can't find reason to watch in August and September. I wrote last week that the vision for a championship contender in 2020 remains intact. Can the Twins speed up at that timeline and become a serious factor in the American League as soon as next year? That depends largely on a select group of players, many of whom will be on display and worth closely watching over the last 2 months of the campaign. Image courtesy of Jordan Johnson, USA Today. Minnesota's roster has been whittled down over the past week, but plenty of remaining team members will be using the final third of the schedule to build toward better things next year. Positive signs from these 7 enigmatic figures over the balance of the season would be extremely reaffirming as far as the club's future outlook is concerned. Miguel Sano. One way or another, Sano will figure into Minnesota's 2019 plans. Will it be as a third baseman? A first baseman? A designated hitter? Will he be a trusted slugger in the middle of the lineup, or a total wildcard coming off a roundly disappointing season? We don't know the answers to these questions yet, but Sano can do much to provide clarity over the final 9 weeks. First things first, he needs to start making some contact. Dating back to his return from the disabled list in late May, Sano has struck out in 36 of 84 plate appearances, 43% with the Twins, including 6 times in 10 plate appearances since his recall from a minor league reset. If he can move back toward his customary, though still extremely high, 35% K range while starting to crush the ball with more consistency, it'll be a very reassuring sign heading into the off-season. Monday's game at least felt like a step in the right direction, with Sano collecting a pair of hits, including a scorched double, and drawing a walk. Mitch Garver. Garver is doing enough to prove himself with the bat. As an MLB rookie, he has posted a .760 OPS, third highest on the team, and that includes a .316, .409, .579 line in July. The 27-year-old combines a keen eye at the plate with strong contact skills and at least adequate power. Questions mainly seem to surround his defensive aptitude. In spite of his offensive takeoff, Garver hasn't quite been able to tap into a true starter's regimen behind the plate, even with veteran minor league journeyman Bobby Wilson as the sole alternative. As an outsider, it'll be a little tough to evaluate progress on this front. There are certain aspects of catching and receiving that are almost impossible to gauge as a mere spectator: rapport with pitchers, ability to execute a game plan, and so forth. I suppose we'll get a read on the coaching staff's perspective based on how Garver's usage behind the plate unfolds during the final weeks. Up to this point, Molitor has rarely had him catch on consecutive days. If the Twins finish the year feeling confident in Garver as a backstop, it'll significantly lower the ambiguity around the position going forward. Byron Buxton. It's been a nightmare season for Buxton. Can he wake up before it ends, or will he carry its echoes into the off-season? Crippling migraines, a trip to the disabled list, a broken toe, a horrendous stretch in the majors, a return to the disabled list, a demotion to AAA, another return to the disabled list, and now more distressing struggles. Since rejoining the Rochester Red Wings on Friday after a 2-week absence due to a wrist injury, Buxton is 1 for 7 with 5 strikeouts, amidst rumblings that the wrist is still bothering him. In 88 total plate appearances at AAA, he has struck out 27 times, 32%, which is tremendously alarming for a 24-year-old who had absolutely slain International League pitching in the past. If he doesn't land on the DL again, Buxton will probably be back up fairly soon. Then, we'll get to see if the wayward centerpiece can start to find himself before time runs out on this season. Max Kepler. Although his issues have been far less severe than fellow fizzling core components Sano and Buxton, Kepler's disappointing play has been arguably more troubling. Because unlike the other two, Kep's lackluster production can't be tied primarily to physical issues. He's been healthy enough to play in 102 of Minnesota's 105 games. There's nothing visibly wrong with him, he's even taking great abs, tracking for a career-low K rate and career-high BB rate. But the results just aren't there. Among qualified MLB right fielders, Kepler's .729 OPS ranks dead last, remaining almost exactly static with the past 2 seasons. The complete lack of offensive growth has turned him from a promising rookie into a stagnating below-average outfielder with 1,500 plate appearances under his belt, approaching arbitration and hardly locked in as a long-term starter. He'd instill a lot more confidence with a big closing run that shows he's capable of translating the solid plate approach into sustained production. Right now, this is very much in doubt. Addison Reed: the front office's foray into free agency over the winter carried little risk. Lance Lynn and Zach Duke have already been flipped for prospects, and Fernando Rodney's contract for next year is optional, if he makes it through August. The only bold commitment they made was to Reed, whose 2-year deal worth $16.75 million represented a record plunge for the Twins on the relief market. So far the results haven't been great. Reed pitched fairly well early on, then seemed to wear down as the season progressed, and spent the past couple weeks sidelined by elbow issues. Reed was activated on Monday, and owns the team's highest guaranteed salary for 2019, so it'd be nice if he could show any hint of getting straightened out the rest of the way. With Ryan Presley gone, the Twins really need Reed to be a major late-inning factor in their bullpen next season. In particular, I'll be looking for a rebound in velocity. As you can see from the chart below, via Brooks Baseball, Red was trending downward in a big way before going on the shelf. Fernando Romero: like most of the others mentioned above, Romero isn't a concerning case at present. He has had a strong first year in AAA, and a very respectable intro to the majors at age 23. But his continued development is essential to Minnesota's short-term outlook, so it'll be key for Romero to keep it rolling. As you may be aware, the right-hander lost almost his entire 2014 and 2015 seasons to injury. He came back to log 90 innings in 2016, then ramped up to a career-high 125 last year before breaking down in August. He is currently at 110 frames this season between Rochester and Minnesota. Can Romero stay healthy and effective through 150 plus? If so, he'll answer one of the few remaining questions suppressing his stock. Michael Pineda: the forgotten man. Minnesota signed Pineda to a 2-year, $10 million contract in December as he recovered from Tommy John surgery. The big righty's arm has now healed, and he's slated to start a rehab stint in the Gulf Coast League next week. If all goes well, he ought to be up with the Twins for the final month, likely as a reliever. As we look ahead to the 2019 season, Pineda's an awfully intriguing factor. He has a 3.60 FIP, 1.19 WHIP and 9.1 K/9 rate as a big leaguer. If he returns at a similar level, he has a chance to join Romero, Jose Barrios and Kyle Gibson in a potentially formidable rotation capable of contending for a championship. Which remaining players are you most interested in keeping an eye on as the season winds down?